In today's video, I'll be reviewing and ranking 12 of new 2024 released fragrances. In my collection, I ranked and sorted them from the least favorite to the most favorite. This is only my opinion. Maybe you like it better. Maybe my least favorite is your most favorite. Before any purchase, try to sample it yourself. So, without any further ado, I want to start by House of Yves Saint Laurent at number 12. My least favorite of 2024 is none other than Elixir by YSL. So, at first I want to say how is the scent profile. It is extremely close to EDP with added oud, like some bitterness added to that sour and fizzy grape juicy DNA. I believe oud is here grains. It likes in laughing or making fun of us. It doesn't work great with this DNA. Oud is somehow unnecessary. I like oud and citruses together. For example, Royal Oud from House of Creed, that oud and citruses work great together, but here, no. It is like, as I said, the best thing to say to this one, oud is greens here. And say like 7 hours solid longevity with this one, no doubt about the performance, 2 hours of good projection and sillage, but I can't enjoy this one, and I don't like oud here. Actually, I like oud, I like citruses, but this combination is not for me, let's say. Let's continue by House of Lattafa. This fragrance got ton of hype, but I don't get it why. It is nothing the wow to my nose. I'm talking about Asad Zanzibar. Okay, I can see why some people can like this DNA, but definitely it is nothing new or wow. It is not cologne though, but I can say it is highly inspired by Dior Homme. So I would say it is like salty Dior Homme. It is a very messy fragrance. They have also inspired by, I can say, Millésime Imperial from House of Creed. That's powdery saltiness, but leans more to the Dior Homme DNA side. Lasts very long projection, sillage, longevity is 10 out of 10. I can say like solid 12-13 hours plus in terms of longevity. Projection and sillage is powdery and loud for first 2-3 hours, but scent profile is not for me. I don't enjoy that powdery, salty, and coconutty atmosphere of this fragrance, which coconut is also here very artificial, and it is like dried coconut powder. Yeah, I don't like it. It is not a bad fragrance, but it is not wow. It is below average to my nose. So in terms of performance, it is a 10 out of 10 fragrance, but in terms of scent profile, can stay at number 11 at top 12 releases of 2024 for me. At number 10, I want to continue by House of Jean Paul Gaultier. Another coconutty, salty type of fragrance. I'm talking about Beau Paradise Garden. I forgot to say here, Asad Zanzibar is coconutty, salty. That sounds like a summer fragrance, but scent profile is not a summer fragrance to my nose. But here we have that combination, but it is better for summer and leans better for summer and spring here. This one is too powdery, but powderiness is here way at the background. So I can say this one is closer to Millésime Imperial from House of Creed, but this one is closer to Dior Homme DNA, let's say, with added some coconut and salt. Performance is also so good. I prefer it over Asad Zanzibar for spring and summer, and scent profile is better to my nose. Lasts like solid 12 hours plus in terms of longevity, and projection and sillage is average to good for first 2-3 hours. Number 9 is from House of Dolce & Gabbana, which is appealing but also redundant to my nose. It is EDP Intense. So it is like shower jelly. It is fruity, spicy. Cardamom is very prominent here and smells dense. And smells more rounded compared to the EDT and EDP, and then ambroxany woody feel is a bit reduced here, but at the dry down they go to the same direction, but this one lasts longer than EDT, but it is same almost with the EDP version. I so much say EDP, EDT, but I have to compare them because I believe this is also redundant if you have already EDT or EDP in your collection. But if you have not one of those fragrances, I suggest you go with this one, as it is more rounded and lasts pretty long. I can get like 10 hours plus solid longevity with this one, with 2 hours of good projection and sillage. Opens up like fresh shower jelly, spicy, and dry down is like woody and ambroxany. Okay, for number 8, I would like to continue with House of Valentino. I have here Valentino Humo, born in Roma, green Stravaganza. such a long name, like a trailer. So I would say about this scent profile, it is a little bit green. It is not that green to say to this one green Stravaganza. It is more about sweetness. It has some sort of very little sugary vibe to it. It is a sweet fragrance. I can get some sort of apple for whatever reason. DNA somehow reminds me of Fierce by Abercrombie & Fitch, but not exactly like that. Resembles, you know, something mutual. Immediately reminds me of that fragrance when I spray it, but it is totally a different fragrance. But I can say it is in the Fierce direction. I believe leans more modern compared to that fragrance, but it is not as complimenting either for whatever reason. I would say it is average type of fragrance in terms of scent profile. It is a signature scent worthy type of fragrance. I have to say it has that character. I can get like 6-7 hours plus longevity with this one. Lasts all day on the clothing, and projection and sillage is average for first 2 hours. At number 7, let's continue by House of Paco Rabanne. A solid release in my opinion. Gets compliments. Invictus Parfum version. So I would say it is, if you haven't smelled Invictus Elixir, it is close to that fragrance, like springy, summery version of that fragrance. Leans better for spring, I would say. It is a little bit, to my taste, too sweet or dense for summer. It is like aquatic and soapy version of Invictus Elixir, if you haven't smelled that one. If you haven't smelled, I would say it is like dark, a little bit spicy, dense and sweet, with some sort of aquatic and very little transparent soapy. I get like 10-12 hours plus longevity with this one. Lasts and lasts. Projection and sillage is not as loud as Invictus Elixir or Invictus Victory Elixir, but I would say it is average, at some points little bit above average for first 2 hours. Let's continue by one of my absolute favorite niche houses at number 6, House of Parfums de Marly, 2024, we know it, Perseus. So it didn't wow me at the very first impression. For example, like Altair was, wow, what the hell is that? But this one immediately reminded me of other fragrances, for example, like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Italian Love, Light Blue Forever, Terre de Hermes, but like very much like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Italian Love, because of that big blast of grapefruit at the opening. But it has also its own character. It is floral, leans floral compared to those fragrances. I have to say at the mid notes we have too much florals here, which makes it unisex at some points, but it is like 60-70% still a masculine fragrance. So I would say to this one, it is a citrusy, floral, slightly sweet and woody, earthy fragrance. In terms of performance, I can get with this one, which is the very first batch of Perseus. I don't know what happens 2-3 years later if you watch this video. Right now I can get 12 hours plus longevity with this one. Solid with 3 hours of great projection and sillage. Gets compliments. Just it didn't impress me because of that resemblance, or let's say mutual feelings between this one and other fragrances that I mentioned. The rest is 10 out of 10. Performance, scent profile, except price, all 10 out of 10. Now we are at top 5. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please remember to subscribe and support me by your likes. I really appreciate that. I want to continue with House of Hugo. I have here the scent Elixir. It is a lasting fragrance. It is juvenile. Somehow it is not a mature scent, I have to say. Leans too youthful to my taste. It gets compliments. Performance is great. Scent profile is like not outstanding or signature scent worthy, but for whatever reason gets the job done and gets compliments, grabs attentions. I have to say it is like fresh, not citrusy freshness, herbal, some sort of freshness is at the top of the fragrance, but at the dry down doesn't lean that much fresh. It is like woody and very greasy, sticky, somehow sweet. Lasts between 10 to 12 hours plus, solid on the skin, on the clothing, like 3-4 days. Projection and sillage is great for first 2-3 hours. I prefer it for fall and winter, better for winter. At number 4, it is here, this bad boy. It is pretty new in my collection. Spicebomb Dark Leather by Viktor and Rolf. So, also nothing new, nothing groundbreaking, but I like the scent profile. I like stance of the fragrance. I like dark, a bit niche standing, yet appealing and designery type of fragrances. Oh, it's beautiful. Immediately reminds me of Bulgari Man in Black. I can say if you have that fragrance, it is redundant in your collection. but it has also its own character. It is less jammy, like compared to the Bulgari Man in Black. That tobacco-y vibe is reduced here, and leather is more pronounced here. It is more about leather than tobacco and the spices, but Bulgari Man in Black is more about tobacco to my nose. But yeah, they are similar, just that settings of the accords are different here. That one is more prominent on tobacco, this one is more prominent on the leather. Two issues with this fragrance: price is 115 bucks for 90 ml. It is too much. Bulgari Man Black wins in terms of price. Performance, I would say both are same. My Bulgari Man Black is like 5-6 hours plus type of lasting fragrance. On my skin, this one is as well. This one lasts longer, like 10 hours, but it is very like weak skin scent. I can get it there, but I would say if you want to get some performance, some projection, I wouldn't say it lasts more than 7 hours. In terms of that longevity and projection, and sillage is very soft or soft somehow for first hour and a half. You have to overspray it if you want to get some good projection, I have to say this one. At least it is my experience. Number 3, let's continue by House of Prada. I have here Prada Luna Rossa Ocean Le Parfum. If you like fresh fragrances that have some sort of weight to it, not only flat type of freshy, this is a must-have for you. For example, Versace Puro is a flat fresh fragrance, but this one has some sort of weight to it, has some twist to it. I like it. So I would say it opens up like shower jelly, has some sort of green vibe to it. Very little reminds me of Creed Green Irish to it at the background, way at the background, or let's say David of Cool Water, but not identical, but you can get like 5-10% of that freshness at the opening, that aquatic green vibe. Then at the dry down gets sweet. It is way sweeter compared to those fragrances, I have to say, and has some sort of different and unusual base to it, which is very difficult to describe it, like woody, like plaster, some sort of different things. I like it. I can get that plastery vibe, for example, in Moschino's Toy Boy. It has that sort of vibe to it. In terms of performance, I can get like 6 to 7 hours plus longevity with this one, 2 hours of average projection and sillage, compliments, refreshing my memories. Average, I have to say, but again, it is a very new fragrance in my collection. Let's check it next year. To be honest, right now it is very early to say, okay, this is not a complimenting fragrance. So I would say average so far. It is only at number 3 because I like it, not because it is a wow complimenting fragrance. It is only my personal opinion. Number 2 is again from House of Paco Rabanne. A big welcome back to this fragrance, Invictus Aqua, with that great frosted looking. 2024. It is, in terms of that presentation, very close or almost identical to 2016 version, but in terms of scent profile, I would say it is like mixture of 2016 with 2018. For example, to my nose, it is not salty like 2016 version. It is too floral compared to the 2016 version. It is less aquatic, or at least same aquaticness is here. So I would say to this one, aquatic, floral and sweet. And personally, I can't get that salty vibe out of this one, and has a little bit like body lotiony feel to it, which was not available in 2016 in my opinion. So I wouldn't say it is identical to 2016 version, but I can say it is like mixture of both of those versions, plus with added some twists, like floral vibes are like 2018 version, and I get some body lotiony feel for whatever reason. So performance is not as great as both of those fragrances, at least right now on my skin. I can get 6-7 hours plus max longevity. With 2018 and 16, I was able to get like 12 hours plus longevity. With this one, 6-7 hours plus max, and with first hour and a half average projection and sillage. About compliments, I have to say this DNA is compliment getter, but I haven't received any compliments yet with this fragrance. At number 1, hands down, number 1 is for me, which gets crazy hate for whatever reason. I don't care these type of things. For example, this one gets crazy love. Also, I don't care it. I say my honest opinion. Although it gets crazy love, but it is not a good fragrance to my taste, and max can be at number 12 in 12 fragrances, new fragrances. So number 1 is Amen Fantasm by Thierry Mugler. I really like that gourmand atmosphere of this fragrance with added darkness. Still the same sprayer, I have to say. Good memories. You can get that backbone of Amen line, like pure Havana, like pure Tonka, that Good Days, the regular Amen, but it is way safer compared to those fragrances. They reduced that niche stance of that fragrance, that dark or daring pronunciation of the fragrance. They polished it, and this is way more safer compared to old versions, I have to say. It is like chocolatey. Coffee is reduced here. I like it. It is somehow fresh at the top. Has some sort of fruity herbal freshness, but at the dry down gets like dark, very little smoky, like the smoke in the Amen. I wouldn't say tar, but has that smoky dark feel with added chocolate. I really enjoy it. In terms of performance, it is not as long lasting as those fragrances. I can get like good 7 hours, let's say, to this one. I would say also touches that 8 hours, but I can say good 7 hours with first hour and a half, max 2 hours of average type of projection. And yes, see you guys.